Yanis, Michael, when you first visited me a few months ago, and you told me about your plans to hold such a forum, I said I know a good idea when I see one. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of that success, and I'm sure it will be successful. And I wish you good luck from the outset. Now, the snapshot of our regional energy market is anything but reassuring at the moment. And by region, I, of course, refer to the Balkans, Black Sea, and the Eastern Mediterranean. The state of import dependency, which many of us allowed ourselves to slip into, is putting serious strain on our economies. The war in Ukraine brought to the surface a stark truth that we need to address the problem of our import dependency, and we need to do that sooner than later. Indeed, the war sent many economies scrambling to find alternative energy sources. But most of these alternatives, like increased LNG deliveries, are so far patchwork solutions at best. And in any case, these solutions do not address the very real challenge that we will keep facing in the years to come, and that is, as was mentioned, the climate crisis. The result of failing adequately to adequately deal with the climate crisis in a timely manner could indeed be very costly down the road. As such, the use of renewable energy is no longer an option, but a necessity in the face of that global climate crisis. I'll go as far as to say that renewables have become an inevitability for everyone in the region, including the Turkish market. And we really are doing something about it in Turkey. In fact, in terms of renewables, Turkey, which I have a problem getting used to, is 5th in Europe and 12th in the world in terms of renewable installed power capacity. 1st in Europe and 3rd in the world in geothermal energy. 6th in Europe in solar and wind energy. 1st among BSEC, Black Sea Economic Cooperation Organization members, and 2nd only to Norway in Europe in terms of hydropower. And lastly, 1st among BSEC members in biogas and bioenergy. So we're now looking at hydrogen, given its potential role in achieving a sustainable energy future. But, and there's always a but, now while renewables are clearly the future for a large part of our energy needs, and as we pursue decarbonization of our energy systems accordingly, secure and diverse sources to tap into in the meantime must also be assured. Because, as the previous speaker mentioned, the green transition will not happen overnight. We will still need hydrocarbons to diversify our energy mix even after the transition. We have to invest not only in renewables, but we should also invest in clean domestic and regional hydrocarbon projects. So as part of this strategy, we own and operate 4 drilling ships, which are very famous in Greece. And these are able to carry out deep sea offshore operations. So far, we achieved considerable success in this endeavor, and the cumulative gas find in the Black Sea comes out to some 540 BCM for the moment, with a market arrival expectancy in a matter of months, not years. But let us not fool ourselves. Energy is not just energy, energy is politics. Energy is politics, both domestically and on an international scale. Energy can bring nations together, and it can also cause great friction. We do not live in an ideal world, far from it, because in an ideal world, each country would have sufficient natural resources to meet its energy needs. So, nations therefore have to cooperate. We need to cooperate based on international law and within a spirit of good neighborliness. Consequently, we in Turkey are of the opinion that the most feasible solutions to energy questions in our region would be attained through inclusive policies. The theme of this morning's gathering is energy supply and security, environmental commitments in a world of sanctions and disruptions. In an intervention I made back in February 2020, not far from this splendid, magnificent building, in a hall, I mentioned the issue of energy exploration and exploitation as a potential contributor to the storm clouds gathering over the eastern Mediterranean. I take no pleasure, believe me, in being proven right. Of course, there is no denying that the Balkans, Black Sea, and the eastern Mediterranean was a complicated region to start with, even before the Russians invaded Ukraine. But the last 10 months have shown that energy is an area where countries of our region do not have the luxury or even possibility of going alone. Energy policies matter. Any decision or project regarding energy has the potential to have either reassuring or destabilizing effects on the neighborhood. Things can go either way. So the most feasible solution to any energy question in the region should involve all relevant parties in the region, including my own. In any case, we're already an established energy hub and a critical energy supply entry point for Europe. We led the way for diversifying the natural gas sources of Europe via the TANAP. This is obviously the pipeline through which Greece and other connected countries receive Azerbaijani gas, not Turkish gas, Azerbaijani gas. TANAP is the backbone and comprises the longest stretch of the southern gas corridor that has become essential for Europe in these trying times. I should also mention at this point that we are committed to maintaining freedom of navigation in the shipping lanes and maritime zones around us. This is important not only for us, but also for third parties in the region and even for the rest of the world. With the increased LNG trade in the region, our position is probably understood much better now than ever. We need to keep legal and legitimate trade flowing. So we're happy to explore regional cooperation opportunities in the field of energy, as long as this is done in a straightforward and constructive manner, based on international law and with respect, hopefully, to economic realities. There should be a fair and equitable distribution of natural resources in the region's seas, in accordance with international law. Just remember that fairness and equity are not opposites of international law. Far from it, quite the contrary. We are determined to continue resisting backdoor deals or fait accompli. We will not stand for schemes disguised as cooperation projects, which are in reality aimed at leaving Turkey out of the energy picture with a truncated maritime jurisdiction area in the Eastern Mediterranean to boot. President Erdogan proposed a conference for all Eastern Mediterranean countries back in his speech to the General Assembly, UN General Assembly in 2020, and the offer still stands. So in conclusion, I want to underline once again that we want to see energy as a means of cooperation. There's nothing wrong with a little healthy competition. But this should not rise to the level of bitter rivalry or even hostility. Energy diplomacy should not be based on zero-sum games. Especially not now. Not now, anyway. Now, we're all in a race against time. A race to become more energy sufficient and less energy dependent. At the same time, a race to save our peoples from the adverse effects of climate change. The war shows us how far behind we fell, simply because we preferred business as usual over pursuing long-term goals. We cannot do that anymore. Thank you.